Hi guys, happy new year. It's a new year, it's a new year. It's a lot of pressure to have made it into 2018, by the way. Today I'm just going to be doing like a quick recap as well as answering some questions on my curious cat. What I'm going to be doing at the end of every video, I'm going to be answering a bunch of random questions. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to make sure people don't see my brazier, you understand? Before I start, my hair is from Hair Essential on Instagram. I will put a link to that below just to get that out of the way. Yeah. This is my first time actually doing proper crochet braids. I actually have a video on the whole experience, which I'm going to put up probably after this. It should be after this or even before. Actually, before this, so I'll put the link below. Welcome to 2018. We've been expecting you. So I saw this picture on another YouTuber's page. Her name is Miss Deb, and it just basically said the year end reflection. Obviously, the year has ended and a new year has started, but it doesn't mean that we can't reflect. So what I'm going to do is there are like 5 or 6 categories. In between, I'm going to be answering questions about myself. And if you know me, you know that I struggled a long time. I've struggled for a long time to make sure I don't talk about myself a lot, which makes me like talking about myself makes me self-conscious, but I'll talk about that in another video. It's just a long story, but so I'm going to just try and keep the questions about myself really brief. I asked you guys to ask me, I mean, I didn't give enough time, but I asked people to ask me any question at all. So I'm going to be doing this in every video, just answering the most random questions. It doesn't matter how personal, anything like that. If I see it, I'm answering it. You understand? So let's get started. The first thing says your highlights. I think the highlights for last year, 2017, my birthday was amazing. Like, I was so happy. I had like a pajama themed party with like some of my closest friends and some snakes. But yeah, some of my closest friends, and it was really nice and warm. I turned 24. My mom got me a car, which is amazing. Her name is Meryl. And like, I'm going out soon, so I'm going to be driving her to where I'm going to. Just saying. So that was like a major highlight for me. Second highlight that I can think of, I'm trying to think of them in order. The second thing I can think of is my mom's birthday. My mom turned 50 last year, and it was really stressful, but it was such a fun experience. Like, we had different parts to the celebration. She went to the prison to minister. Her actual birthday here in Nigeria, her birthday in London, and everything. Like, a lot of things connected, but I'm just going to save that part so that I can use another part as, you know. So that was like my second highlight of the year. Third highlight was traveling, and I got to go on 2 different cruises last year. I went on one for my godmother's, that's my best friend's mom, my godmother's 50th, and then I went on a cruise for my mom's 50th. Both of them were fun, even though I think the one for my mom's 50th was more fun because I was there with all my siblings. But I got to visit so many places that I would not have ordinarily gone to. I went to Montenegro, I went to Piran, I went to Croatia, I went to Slovenia. Actually, Piran is in Slovenia. I went to Greece. I went to like 4 or 5 cities in Greece. It was just amazing. And thinking back, I wish I had like, okay, to be fair, at that point in time, I didn't have a camera, so I couldn't really document things, but I wish I could have documented everything, not only for my blog, but for like, just to have, as memories. The next highlight that I had last year was being on the panel of the Boga Point brunch. This is actually my second time on the panel, but this was the first time that we actually got to like speak. And I was so like, first of all, I didn't feel like I deserved to be there. But my mentality towards things is whether or not you deserve to be there, you do have to be grateful about it. So I was really grateful to be involved. I was really grateful that people saw me in a high or in a good enough light to actually want to, want to put me on a panel. Like, imagine small me, like small girl like me, on a panel. It's amazing. If you've watched my previous video where I was talking about how God hijacked my year, you know that I didn't have like the best year, but those were the things that like made my year worthwhile. If that makes any sense. The first question is rate Abuja living on a scale of of 1 to 10. Living in Abuja is probably like a 6 for me. Like the things that are important to me are like ease of access, being able to go places when I need to go places, having peace and quiet, being safe and secure, and obviously it's nice to have a social life as well. But like, because I'm in school, like my social life is relatively limited, but it works for me. Like I think it works for my friends. I know a lot of people love Lagos and they love the uppityness and the hustle and stuff like that, but I'm not really the type of person that necessarily likes to be in such a competitive environment. And because I've had several stints with mental illness, I prefer to be in an environment that has a lot of serenity to it, and Abuja is definitely it for me. So I would say 6. Like 6 is like a steady, slightly above average. So next, the disappointments. Huh, God, I don't even know where to start with this one because I'm trying to make sure like I'm being as honest as I can be without being too much, like exposing too much, just because like people in the world are really mean. So I think the first disappointment, in fact, the biggest disappointment of my year was my grandfather passing away. And even though I've come to peace with it and I understand that God's plan is the best, it was disappointing for me to an extent because of how many people put in so much to make sure that he passed away because he was sick. And so many people, you know, when you've invested so much into the well being of somebody, and then at the end of it all, they still fall sick. And I mean, they still pass away. That was a really big disappointment for me. Second disappointment was um, I had to let go of a friend that I thought I was going to be friends with forever. So I think I also touched on that in my last video as well, which I mean is still ongoing. But last year was when I made the decision, and it just got to a point where it was obvious that this person did not care about how their actions affected me. So I had to make that decision by myself. In fact, I had to be pushed to make the decision. Even though I knew it was the right decision, it still took me a while to get there by myself, but I had to be pushed. So that was a disappointment because, you know, with friendships, you just invest so much and you expect so much. Like when you've sown all the right seeds and you've done so much. And the sad thing is that this particular friend, I had done more for this friend than I had for any other friend, even the friends that were like my best friends. So it was really heartbreaking. Still is heartbreaking, but God has definitely granted me peace. I can now like talk about it and not like be upset or anything like that. Um, Third disappointment of the year was I got really cocky in school. Like I got really cocky because being back in Nigeria and going to school is different. It's not like the standards are low, but it's just different because especially with the course I'm studying, which is politics and international relations, a lot of it has to do with deductive reasoning and has to do with qualitative reasoning in general. So it's easy to think that you can know things by yourself, like you don't need to study, you don't need to commit to God or anything like that. And definitely in the beginning of last year, in fact in this my like in the last semester, I'm not in my first semester in my last year, but in the second semester of 2017, I just kind of was like, I can pass anyway, or like I'm sure I'll do well regardless. And I still did well, but I didn't do as well as I expected. So that was like really disappointing. Um, I think something else that was actually a really big disappointment, but I don't feel like it's a disappointment anymore. But at the point in time that it happened, it felt like a disappointment. Is that I basically made a lot of like really selfish decisions that puts like a lot of my different relationships in jeopardy, like best friend relationship boyfriend, like Moses and I's relationship and stuff like that, I was just kind of like on a rampage of kind of just trying to be selfish because I didn't really understand why. I thought that people were against me and stuff like that. So that was like a really big disappointment for me. But now the amount of time that I've spent kind of trying to figure out why I was in that headspace has kind of made it worth it. And at the same time, like, it's like that's how I feel about all the disappointments, to be honest. Like, just rounding up disappointments, I do feel like a lot of the experiences were worth it because I learned so much. Like, I learned so much about myself. Next question I got is so funny. What is your favorite cake? In bracket, this determines if we'll talk, so no pressure, lol. My favorite cake is actually chocolate cake. I'm like the ultimate basic itch. I actually am. Chocolate cake is sinful, it's divine, it's dense, it's moist. At least my chocolate cake is. I'm going to have my February boxes as usual. Last year I had Valentine boxes. This year I'm having Valentine boxes as well. So stay tuned for that. 3 game changers. Definitely the creation of like rocky relationships for me changed the game for me completely. Changed the game in my relationship. I'm sure a lot of you noticed that I've become like more private. I've become more guarded about the relationships that I have with other people, especially like boyfriend girlfriend relationship type thing. It changed my life. Like everything that happened changed my life for the better. I'm definitely keen on guarding my relationships. I've definitely like realized that it's not that deep to overshare. A game changer for me in fact, that situation taught me that the first thing I said, but secondly, it taught me how much I actually don't care about other people's opinions because so many people had so much to say on what they thought was going on. At some point, when I took off pictures of Moses from my social media. Like everybody was like, even people that don't ordinarily talk to me would like message me and be like, what's going on? Message Moses, and we'd just be looking at each other like, even if something was going on, you know. The third game changer was definitely getting my car. If you don't know me very well, you will not know that I don't like to drive. But now that I actually have my car, I drive so much more because I mean it's my baby and I don't want anybody else driving it. So I tend to drive more. I still get my friends to drive me in my car, but I drive more, and it has definitely taught me to be more independent. One of my biggest concerns after being in a relationship for so long is that I become so dependent because I actually was really dependent on Moses to do a lot of things. But I just kind of had to like catch myself and realize, guy, like you're not always going to be with somebody. Like you need to learn how to do things. So the car definitely made me feel like I'm going to have to start learning how to do things by myself. This year was the first year I ever bought petrol by myself. Like it's embarrassing to say and it sounds awkward, but trust me, like that's just my reality.
Please, reduce the TV. I'm making a video. I'm hearing people shouting. Thank you.
Next question is, do you make money from your YouTube channel? I don't. I used to make money off my old YouTube channel, but I don't make money off this one. I think even to start making money, you have to get to a certain number of views. But then this particular YouTube channel is kind of just a pet project. If at all, if I do make money, it's not directly through YouTube. It's like indirect. Maybe people see my videos and ask me to do things, or even different items that I may have mentioned in my videos. I tried them out because they were like sent to me and I was paid to try them, that kind of thing. But directly, no, I do not make money from YouTube video. From YouTube. I mean, I only have like 600 subscribers. Hi guys. 3 things that I focused on. I focused on my relationship a lot last year. I focused on my relationship. Um, I focused on at the end of the year. I focused on getting back together with God. Like God and I were not friends during last year. Like I didn't feel like I needed a daddy. You know, I was just like, I don't need no daddy. I'm an independent black woman. I could deal with things by myself. Yeah, but I started focusing more on God like November, December. In fact, yeah, And then my third focus was self-love and self-acceptance, which you think that at a certain point in time you have handled, but no, that's not how it works. Like, it's a constant journey. Right now, I'm as solid as a rock. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm as solid as a rock. There's nothing that someone can tell me that is bad about myself or that is good about myself that I haven't thought about already, which is such an empowering thing. The next question is when are you going to have a meet and greet? Would love to meet you and have some wine. Honestly, I've been thinking about this, but not as a meet and greet because I don't think that's like I have enough of a like following to have a meet and greet. But I've definitely been trying to save up so that I can have like a tea party for people that actually want to hang out. I don't feel like I'm like the most fun person to hang out with, to be completely honest. But I've gotten asked this question a relative amount of times. So I'm definitely thinking about it. And of course, there will be wine because you guys know I love my red wine. Next thing is 3 things I forgot last year. God. I forgot God. Either I forgot him or I just decided that I could leave him and he would just be there for me. I forgot to an extent a lot of things that I considered my principles. I forgot a lot. And I forgot fear to an extent. Like, I kind of let go of fear of a lot of things. I was just like, when you find yourself in certain situations, you're just like, well, I'm already here. Let's get it then, that kind of thing. So I definitely forgot fear in 2017. This one is actually a past question, but for some reason it came up again, even though I've answered it. It says, no offense, but you seem like the type of person that is only nice, in brackets, extremely, to people close to you. And like I said before, none taken, because it's true. I'm only extremely nice to people close to me. Everybody else, I'm friendly and I'm polite. But I'm not going to I'm very guarded. That's just the truth. Especially, I think this tends to happen with a lot of people when they've experienced some kind of disappointments in friendships or whatever, is that you do become guarded. And that's kind of how I am. I'll always be really sweet to everybody. But at the same time, there's only so much I can invest in you when you're not my friend or when you're not my close friend, if that makes any sense. In general, in reflection, like I said before, 2017 was not my best year. It felt like things were happening back to back to back. But honestly, I feel so strong and so happy and so empowered for 2018. Like, I'm so excited for what 2018 has in store for me. I'm so excited in the relationship. Like, 2018, the only relationship that I'm focusing on is the relationship with me and God, and it has been working out so well. And one of my goals for 2018 as well was to make sure that not only am I focusing on God, but my friends are focusing on God. So I'm kind of making sure that when I'm doing my devotionals and stuff, I'm involving my friends in it as well, so that we can all grow together. So that's a big thing for me, because as far as I'm concerned, if I don't talk to you about God, then I don't feel like we're friends, because he's such an important part of my life. And I never want to be in a situation where I forget again. Obviously, in reflection, it wasn't it wasn't the best year, but it wasn't terrible either, because I just feel like it has, like I said, repaired me, and it has prepared me as well. It definitely gave me an opportunity to focus on the things I ended up focusing on and improve on them. Definitely gave me an opportunity to have those game-changing experiences. So yeah. But let's get into these questions. Next question is, how do you deal with copyright on your YouTube videos? I just don't use copyrighted music. In general, there's so much music out there for you to use. YouTube creates its own music. The music that you probably hear the most on my channel was created for me by Moses as well. So I don't use copyrighted music, so I don't have copyright issues. It's so important to stay in the good books of YouTube so you don't get blacklisted, blackballed, and stuff like that. So it's a small sacrifice to make, but then again, if you do use music, you can just easily, as long as you put the song that you use within the first, I think, 1 or 2 lines of your description, then you're fine. But yeah, you have to acknowledge, because it's only fair. You can't just be stealing people's things and not using people's stuff and not telling people that it doesn't belong to you, if that makes any sense. How old are you? I don't know. I feel like I talk about my age in every video or every opportunity I get, but I'm 24 years old. I'm gonna be 25 in March. I'm really excited about that. So yeah, I'm going to be 25 in March. Are you single? If you watch this video, I'm sure you have your answer by now, but just in case you don't have your answer, I'm not single because I'm married to Jesus. Okay? I know what you guys want to hear. And like I said, I am now at a point in time where I do feel very private about my relationship or relationships. So that is literally all you're going to get from me on this. If it gets to a point in time where I now want to start making relationshipy videos or anything again, then you would know. But as at now, that's just not me. Like, I'm just not there. You understand? What foundation do you use? Guys, I have like a lot of foundations. So I always feel bad when somebody asks me. Let me just show you a couple of foundations that I use. Okay, so I think my number one is MAC Studio Fix Fluid. In fact, I think my top three are MAC. So maybe I should just say MAC. MAC Studio Fix Fluid. I use MAC Pro Longwear Foundation. That's what I'm using today. I use MAC Pro Longwear Nourishing Waterproof Foundation. I love my Makeup Forever Ultra HD. I am in the color Y505. I have the Lancome Teint Idol Ultra Wear in 13.1 Cacao. And I also love, if you're looking for a drugstore, Maybelline Satin Liquid, Dream Satin Liquid is amazing. And I am in the color Caramel? Golden Caramel. So those are like my ride or die foundations. I just like a lot of the times when you see me wearing foundation, I'm probably not wearing just one. Like I like to mix my foundation. So guys, I had to come back to answer 2 more questions. I know it looks different. It's because this is like hours later and I just got 2 extra questions. Or, well, not questions as much as, I guess, comments. The first one says, I love you so much. Keep shining blue. Thank you so much. Like, God bless you, honestly. That's all I have to say. Thank you. The next question is, based on looks, don't you think Moses can do better than you? I don't know if I should answer this question seriously or not, because I think Moses is a very, very handsome individual. But I'm also a very, very beautiful person, and I have an amazing personality. So I feel like based on looks, anybody can always do better than anybody. I mean, at the end of the day, I can't categorically tell you that I'm the most beautiful girl in the world or anything like that. But I resemble my papa, you understand? I'm wonderfully and beautifully made. So based on that, anybody can really do better than anybody else. But I feel as though the person that was asking this was not really asking it. You can always tell when somebody's like trying to hate because they don't construct sentences properly or they don't use the right punctuations. This person just wrote it as a statement, like no question mark, nothing. So I'm just guessing that you're just trying to get under my skin. Unfortunately, like it's too late in my life to do that. Yeah, based on looks, you can do better. I can also do better. We can both do better. Like if only relationships were based on looks alone, you know. Thank you guys so much for watching. And before I leave, as per usual, I need to remind you guys that you are sugar, you are spice, and you are bomb ass jollof rice, honey. Bomb ass jollof rice. Bye guys. Mwah.